60, 11 teachers received a $1,000 gift card to purchase needed supplies to enhance the learning experiences for their students. Thank you, Allstate Sugar Bowl, for your commitment to NOLA's teachers.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK 1230 AM.
Wake up, New Orleans. Good morning. Good morning. It's Dr. Ashanta White. This is the Good Morning Show. I am so excited to be talking to you. I'm in studio with my super producer, so you know it's always a good day when we link up. But happy Thursday to everybody. Listen, I want to start off by saying our thoughts, hearts, and prayers go out to all those impacted by the aircraft crash that happened between a Black Hawk helicopter and an American Airlines flight. I saw some of the video. I'm not certain if you guys saw it, but it was the trajectory of the Black Hawk helicopter that I want you to pay attention to. That Black Hawk went at minimum 3 times before it actually crashed into the American Airlines flight. So I'm not understanding what is going on, but it seemed that that aircraft was intent on having some sort of interaction with another aircraft in the air. I think it made like 3 passes in the attempt to run into an aircraft, and then it unfortunately did make contact with an American Airlines flight that originated in Wichita, Kansas. They are reporting that at least 60 people may not have made it in terms of this crash. Our hearts, thoughts, and prayers go out to all those impacted, the flight crew, the passengers, relatives and friends and family of the flight crew and the passengers. This is awful. And I'm starting to just ask myself, how could an aircraft be in airspace dark? Because that's what they're saying. They're saying the Black Hawk helicopter was dark, meaning that the control towers or whomever is in charge of air traffic control did not know or was not aware that that aircraft was in that airspace. And so it's absolutely heartbreaking. And it has also been reported that aircraft, because I guess Black Hawk means military, is a military aircraft, but there's a search and rescue, massive search and rescue operation happening. So if you were not aware, there was a plane crash that happened on yesterday. So I just wanted to take a moment to say that we here at WBOK are in intentional thoughts and prayers for all those affected. My God. So on to things that are absolutely local. I know we tend to talk about national news later in the broadcast, but I could not start talking about anything without acknowledging the loss of life and the traumatic impact that it is going to have on so many people. But let me tell you about my day yesterday. So I am tired, first of all. Let me just say that. And not in the sense that you would think, oh, just get you some rest. No, I'm tired. But yesterday, as I told you on the air that there was going to be a school board meeting at McDonough 35 yesterday. It started at 5:30. By the time I made it to the meeting, I had already missed the first speaker, but I was there from the second speaker on. And everybody got an opportunity to get up and voice their thoughts and what their suggestions are for the next superintendent of New Orleans Public Schools. But what I do know is everything that I heard, everything that I saw, and all of the boxes that you want your superintendent to check, I know an individual that checks those boxes. So this is what I will say. I want to be very clear when I say this because I don't want any misinterpretation of what I'm going to say. But I find the hypocrisy of all of this to be glaring, right? And that's what I'll say there. But what I do know is each and every time that we as a people make it to a certain precipice in life, and we think that we've made it to what the powers that be have deemed the finish line. What I do know is that that line continues to move. Each and every time you make it to where you think you've attained a level of success that coincides with whatever the requirements are for success, the line for success is moved. The line for qualifications is moved. The line for certifications is moved. And so what I want you to hear me say is this. I was told that the main criteria for the next superintendent is that they are requiring this person to have superintendent experience. Now, I think it's hypocritical, and I think the hypocrisy is jarring because I can name a number of people. I can name a number of titles and jobs and vacancies where if that were the requirements, many of us would have never been able to attain experience. Because in order for you to get experience in a new thing, you have to be offered the opportunity to try the new thing. And so I would say, anybody who had the audacity to cast a vote for a 30-plus time felon who had never had any experience in the realm that he was attempting to attain, anybody that voted for that could never sit in my face and tell me that you're requiring someone to have a criteria that was never, ever listed in prior searches. So I know what that is. I hope you know what that is. But I'm not going to wallow in anything. I'm going to let folk do what folk believe they need to do for themselves. And I'm going to stay over here and mind the business that pays me. And so I'm not going to give you the satisfaction of disturbing my peace. But what I will say is I know a superintendent for the state once upon a time that had 0 credentials. I know him by his name. And if you follow education, you would know as well. I know that he attained those criteria while he was in the job. In a very short amount of time, he became very credentialed. And so my credentials are not a matter of fallacy. I worked very hard for them. I went to accredited universities, brick and mortars, to get them. And so I, will never try to prove my worthiness to anybody who don't even measure up to ask me the questions about my qualifications. I will not do that. I'm not going to do it. Because if this was about a matter of credentials and a matter of specific criteria, none of us would be in the positions that we've attained for ourselves if the only basis is to have done that thing before. I think it's hypocrisy at best. I think it's a targeted aim, and anybody, that wants to try to refute, don't talk if what you're talking about is not aligned with the facts. I don't have any time for anybody's opinion. I know what I heard, I know what I saw, and I know what this is. And so I think it would almost be insane to tell an aspiring principal, the only way you could become a principal is if you've been a principal before. That would knock out all of the aspiring principals. I think it would be crazy to tell a school board member, in order to sit on this board, you have to actually have been seated on a board before. Or how about I say, to sit on my board of education, you have to actually have taught, have substituted, have some classroom experience, been an assistant principal, a principal, an academic dean. See, I'm rattling off things that I've actually done before, right? But if I told you, in order to serve as a school board member for education, you had to at least run an after-school program where kids were. Show me what you've done besides be a parent that qualifies you for this seat where children's livelihoods are affected. You see how silly that sounds? Because, see, it's silly because we know that there are people occupying school board seats that have never worked in a school before, but yet here we are. We know that there are superintendents who've never been superintendents before, but yet here we are. I would venture off to say the very definition of insanity is what we're doing in New Orleans public schools right now. But who am I? Because if you let them tell it, I'm not qualified to have that opinion. And so for me, I can tell you right now, the things that make me who I am, you can't quantify on paper. Because you can't tell anybody, about my heart for children because you can't read that on a resume. And also, we do know resumes are subjective, right? Folk can put all that nice, colorful language on there. And then when you go and try to check to see them in real life, see it in action, it's a whole bunch of theory. But they have the audacity to tell you that you're not credentialed enough to run a school system that is sitting on ground zero. I feel insulted because I know what this is. I know what this is. I've seen this movie before. I know how it ends. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not letting anybody take me for another traumatic ride. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I don't have to prove myself to you. I need you to go ask my children. Ask the people who've ever worked underneath my leadership. Ask the colleagues who've worked beside me. Ask the children. Ask the parents. I don't have to prove myself to anybody who's never walked, can't even fit the shoes I walk in. I do not have to do that, and I will not. I will not. I will not. Because what I want you to know is no matter how many rejections you give to me, no matter how many criteria you put on the paper that you want me to believe that I don't qualify for, there is nothing you can do with me. There is absolutely nothing you could do with me. My opinions will still be my opinions. My fearlessness will still be my fearlessness. My authenticity will still be there. And I will still love and protect and defend this city and these children until the day I can no longer do so. So no matter what you say or do, I'm letting you know that there is nothing you can do with me. And I'm talking directly to the folk who I know who have their hands in a pot for my demise. There's nothing you could do to me. So let's just be clear about that. We have to go to break here, but on the other side of the break, we're going to continue to have conversations. I'm going to actually let you hear a portion of the school board meeting that was attended by very few, wish there were more. But it was aired by WGNO News. I'll play a clip of that when we return on the other side of the break. This is WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is Monica Pierre along with Sally Ann Roberts Daybone, co-host of Your Power is On.
Your Power is On Gospel Music Show is coming on at a new time. Tune in Sunday mornings from 7 to 8 a.m. for music that feeds the spirit. Get your Sunday on.
Right here on WBOK 1230 AM and WBOK1230.com, the station you listen to
all day long.
NOLA Public Schools' main round enrollment for kindergarten through 12th grade is now open. With 73 schools available through the NOLA Public Schools Common Application Process, or NCAP, finding the right school fit for your family is easier than ever. List up to 12 choices to maximize your chances and apply by January 24th. We're all in, and we hope you are too. Apply today at enrollnolaps.com. That's enrollnolaps.com.
Tune in to The Monitor's Mic, where we talk about oversight, policing, and you. Hosted by the Office of Independent Police Monitor, we're here to shine a light on policing issues that matter, from real-time policing updates to in-depth interviews. Every Friday at noon on WBOK.
Welcome to Liberty Bank and Trust, where your financial journey transforms communities. Since 1972, our customized banking solutions power your dreams and fuel your community growth. Every dollar you invest with us circles back to empower more people, ensuring opportunities for generations. Join us at Liberty Bank. Together, we empower possibility. Visit libertybank.net to start banking with purpose. Liberty Bank, there's freedom here.
Talk That! NOLA Education is all about awareness. Join Dr. Jakil Ross from New Schools for New Orleans to learn how our schools in Orleans Parish are performing academically compared to other parishes. Tune in for Talk That this Monday at 12:30 p.m. on 12:30 a.m.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM.
Good morning, wake up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK 1230 AM.
Dr. Ashanta White, and if you're just joining us, we were in conversation talking about the meeting that happened at McDonough 35 on yesterday, centered around the superintendent search. And I promised you that I would play a clip of I was interviewed, and I was just simply asked a question about my intent on applying for the job. So I want you to just listen to it real quick, and I'll talk to you on the side of the clip.
And the culture, understand the problems and the complexities of it.
Throughout the meeting, several residents spoke highly of one potential candidate, current Xavier professor Ashanta Wyatt, claiming she was the best potential candidate for the job.
I know I'm qualified for the position, and if we're talking about the things that they named, I check all of those boxes. All I'm asking for is to be afforded the opportunity to show and prove that what people are asking for is what I can deliver.
Supporters at this meeting.
Listen, that was my answer. Just very direct and straight to the point. If we're talking about the qualifications that were presented by the board, and the United Teachers of New Orleans, they were there. Step Up Louisiana were there. All of the folk who took the mic and asked for these specific things. And the guy who interviewed me asked if I feel like I'm qualified. And no, I don't just feel, I know I am. And I'm gonna go a step further and say there are intangibles that people don't necessarily account for when you talk about leadership, and we need to start talking about those things. But I think we have to be honest about what is happening here, and I will just leave it at that. I'm not going to continue to talk about it because, again, I've been here before. I've seen this movie. I know how it ends, and I don't have time to continue to be on this hamster wheel. I'm not going to do that. I wish the very best for the children of this community. I wish the very best for the teachers who are in the thick of all of this. I wish the very best for all of the school leaders here in this city. I have no issues with anybody. I have a problem with broken systems. That's my issue. That will always be my issue. It's never Dr. Wyatt against a person. It is Dr. Wyatt talking about dissecting and being hypercritical, because I can, about a system that is directly impacted our most vulnerable assets, and that's our children. And that's why I have such bold, big opinions about it. And I will leave it there. As you know, I'm not certain if we'll get to talk to our congressman this morning, but it is Congressman Troy Carter Thursdays here on WBOK. So hopefully we get an opportunity to chat with him. But if we don't, I can definitely update you on a lot of the things that are happening around our state that our congressman is directly responsible for. So should we not have the opportunity to have that dialogue with him, I will absolutely make certain that you, the listening audience, understands what is happening around our state and what that impact is, and how we are thankful for our congressman for standing in the gap for us each and every time. But again, oh look, I called his name and here he is. And so I want you guys to prepare yourselves and to welcome our congressman, the one and only Congressman Troy Carter. Good morning, Congressman. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Good morning, Dr. Wyatt. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Always great to be on the morning show with you guys.
Listen, I was prepared to run off your accomplishments if I didn't get an opportunity to talk to you. But now that you're here, I know you want to tell us all about the things that you've done for our state. But I know you probably want to take a moment to address the tragedy that took place on yesterday as well. So I want to give you an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, our hearts go out to the victims and family of the tragic crash that happened in Washington yesterday, or the American airline and a Black Hawk helicopter collided over the Potomac, right at the very airport that I fly into regularly. A major tragedy. They're still trying to secure the number of bodies, determine the cause, and figure out exactly what broke down to cause it. But another American tragedy. So I'd ask everyone to remember these people in their thoughts and prayers.
Absolutely. And I just, when I heard it, and my heart instantly almost like skipped a beat. But to see, they put out video. I don't know if you got a chance to see it, but they put out like the flight pattern video, and you can see the aircraft make 3 missed passes at varying aircrafts in the air until that plane finally made contact with the American Airlines plane. And so it was just horrific to see, and you know how that took place. So I'm hoping and praying that whatever happened, there's a way to keep this tragedy from replicating itself. So
yeah, it is surreal to watch and to look at it. It's like something out of a sci-fi movie, but this is real, and it's frightening. So it will change air travel, and there'll be some major changes with the Federal Aviation Administration, clearly, to ensure that things like this don't ever happen again.
Absolutely. We already have a caller online, too. Are you ready to take a call? Or how you
want? Sure.
Good morning, Miss Alicia. Welcome to the Good Morning Show. Miss Alicia? And we lost our congressman. Please let's get the congressman back. I don't know what happened there. I'm going to just say it's my fault. I don't know what happened there, but as you all know, like there was a tragedy. Now they're saying that they recovered 28 bodies from the Potomac so far. We have our congressman back. Can you hear me, Congressman Carter?
Yes, I'm here.
I'm sorry I lost you. We had Miss Alicia calling in. Maybe she'll call back. But I was saying as you were coming in, they're saying they've so far recovered 28 bodies from the Potomac thus far, and so
and I think the jet was carrying 60 passengers.
Yeah, the article says it was carrying 64.
There's still a substantial amount of bodies to be found. And listen, I just flew back to Louisiana yesterday, and as I was taking off, I noted Potomac is still frozen.
Yes.
So it was starting to thaw out. So in addition to obviously the crash, if there were any individuals that might have survived, that may be surviving, how horrible was the crash into that icy Potomac too. So I pray that for the souls that are there, and pray that there may be some that recover.
Yeah, and it's also being reported that of the 64 people on board, 3 of them were soldiers of our military, and so it's just heartbreaking to know that this took place. All of the questions about why. I heard a young man who is a flight attendant. As I was coming to work this morning, he was saying how they're going to revamp their policies and procedures even for them, because they train them on a lot of things. There's no training for something like this. And so it's just awful. And so our hearts and prayers go out to all of those impacted. And thank you for taking a moment to acknowledge the tragedy and to also send your condolences as well.
Yes, it's times like this that Americans have to really stick together. And we have enough foolishness going on, and we'll talk about that a little bit today. Enough foolishness going on with the president attempting to unconstitutionally reverse acts of Congress and to freeze allocations of money that have gone to nonprofits, to hospitals, to senior citizens, to food banks, to our children. It's a very trying time, but the message I want our people, our listeners, to hear: however hard this administration tries to break down our democracy and to take away resources and to reverse the gains of equality, rest assured that this congressman and the Democratic congressman are going to be fighting tooth and nail to protect the rights of our citizens. We are not going to let Donald Trump or anybody else just run rampant to reverse our gains. He's going to have a fight, and we're going to try our best to block every one of those foolish actions that he's trying to employ relative to Project 2025.
Well, I, for one, am absolutely grateful that you have a seat at the table up there. And I can't express that enough, because that is a very scary thing as the mother of a son who is in his first year of college, and to hear about these things he's trying to do in terms of funding as it relates to schools and children. It's just mind-boggling that he doesn't even seem to know how that works. Congress absolutely has a say there. And so I don't know what his aim was. I don't know if it was like some sort of fear mongering he was doing, but I'm glad you have a seat at the table. And I'm glad there are people fighting in the best interest for all of the American people and not just a small subset of folk. But we do have a call online too. Good morning, Reverend Calhoun. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Good morning to everybody. My question is simple. We understand that he is trying to take over the federal government. But what I want to know, Congressman, given all these executive orders, and I do know he cannot undo law, what's in law, but how difficult can it be for those things that did get us to, as our host was saying, a seat at the table? The impact on the civil rights law, the impact. Will this stuff now go to the Supreme Court just to see if he has the authority, or will he try to change the law to make these things where he has the only and the final say on stuff? Because I'm just looking at how damaging this stuff can be. Just in him writing executive orders.
He's going to try. He's going to test the strength of the Constitution. He's going to try to create a dictatorship, an oligarchy. He's going to try to be all-powerful. But the Constitution is clear. Article 2 of the Constitution is where the powers of the president is spelled out. Article 1 of the Constitution, Section 6, 7, 8, 9, is where it talks about the power of Congress and our power to have the power of the purse. So the president has no authority to unspend money that the Congress has authorized. So this notion that he's going to freeze money that we've appropriated is unconstitutional.
Well, let me
And
ask
we
you this,
pushed
Congressman.
back, and they realized, and now they have rescinded that order. There's a federal judge that also agreed with us and halted his action. But here's the reality. We stopped him here, but he's going to try something else. So this is a victory today, but we don't know what he's going to do tomorrow.
But
The
my
fact remains that he is going to try to govern through executive order. He's going to try to test the strength of the Constitution. He's going to try to sneak through any loophole. But here's the value that you have. We're not going to just sit back and let that happen. Just like we met him at the table and we stopped this, we're going to meet him at the table and stop him every time we can when he tries to do something that is unconstitutional, improper, or illegal.
But
it doesn't mean he's not going to keep trying. He's going to keep trying.
Congressman, here's where I'm confused at. Your Republican colleagues seems to be in favor of this. And I don't understand because I don't hear neither one of them standing up against what he's doing. What is the mindset of Steve Scalise and Mike Johnson and all of this that seems to be in support of him? They can't be that stupid not to see what he's doing, that he's trying to create a dictatorship. So just your thoughts on what is the problem with the Republican Party that they cannot see what this man is doing? Hello?
Rev, I think a part of the problem is Donald Trump has most Republicans afraid that if they challenge him, that he will come against them. And I will tell you, private conversations that I've had with many members and many Republicans who privately will share their concerns but publicly will not. I will tell you, I can only speak for
you can't put a
Troy
coward
Carter.
in leadership.
What's that now?
I said then they are cowards, and you can't have cowards in leadership.
Hey, listen, I will tell you this. If our president, a Democratic president, were doing the kind of things that this Republican, I guarantee you, I would challenge even a Democrat who was doing wrong. I wouldn't follow just because you're a Democrat, just because you're a Republican, just because you're a member of my party. Our allegiance is to the people of America, not to any one president. And if someone's doing wrong, all leaders, Republican, Democrat, and other, have a right and a responsibility to stand up to it. So I'm not sure why my Republican brothers and sisters are not standing up and calling out what I know in their heart of hearts they have to know is just wrong. So rather it's cowardice, rather it's fear, rather it's ignorance, I don't know the answer, but I know this. They need to step up and acknowledge that the American people deserve true leadership and not someone who wants to wreck our democracy and reverse the gains of freedom and equality that we fought for so many years. And listen,
well, my last question
rest
to you,
assured that we're going to
Congressman.
keep fighting and we're not going to let this happen.
My last question to you. With all the resources and all that you have brought back to the state of Louisiana, will that continue, or do you see a bigger roadblock now in trying to keep the resources coming to this state based on the idiocy of Donald Trump? I'll hang up and listen.
Thank you, Reverend Calhoun.
Reverend Calhoun, thank you very much, as always. Very thoughtful and provocative questions and commentary. I will tell you that we're going to fight just as hard as I always have, but the reality is, yes, it's going to be a greater challenge. It's going to be a greater challenge to bring the resources home because now we're going to have people fighting. If you're fighting to try and undo what we've already done, you know how hard they're going to fight to do what we're trying to bring home. So the battle is going to be even tougher. And I'll go back to what I've said a million times, and you have too, and Ashanta and so many of our leaders have said, elections have consequences. When we vote, we win. When we stay home, we lose. And now we're seeing firsthand just a couple of weeks into office, just a couple of weeks into being sworn in, and this president is already wreaking havoc on the American people. Now, here's the rub. You know, it's funny. His attempt to hurt Americans yesterday was going to hurt Republicans and Democrats. It's going to hurt independents, poor, rich, young, old, black, white, and other. You have to wonder at some point, what's your real mission? What's your angle? Is your angle to bring America to its knees? Because to attempt to shut down our government. Now listen, next month in March, we still have a budget to pass. I'm fearful that the next step will be to close government and shut it down again. We have a lot of work to do. And I would ask everyone to please take careful notes. Watch what's happening. And we can't ever let this happen again. If this is not the clarion call that we need to make sure we never, ever, ever, ever miss another opportunity to vote, I don't know what else there is.
Absolutely, and I absolutely agree with you. We have another caller on line 3. James, good morning. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Good morning. Congressman, glad to have you, and thank you for what you have done for this state.
Good morning, my brother.
Right on. So to Rev's point, I just want him to understand that while Donald Trump, tell me if I'm wrong too, yeah. So
yes,
while Donald Trump is the figurehead and face of the Republican Party, and he really has no ideology, he has no morals or scruples. Let's be clear that Project 2025 has been written and authored by all of these Republican or extreme right factions across this country, and they've put their heads and money together, and they are a super PAC that sponsors all of these Republican leaders. That's why it seems cowardice. They are only cowards to the purse. They are only cowards to the purse. So the agenda of Project 2025 speaks way louder than the individual in the seat, holding the seat. Am I correct? Or am I just assuming?
No, Brother James, you got it. You got it, because what ends up happening is these super PACs, they either make or break. I don't know if you saw the other day on CNN, this one individual, one of the power brokers with those super PACs, told members of the U.S. Senate that if any of them voted against the president's nominees for cabinet posts, they're coming after them, taking their seats.
Right.
So when you let super PACs and people like that have that kind of power over you, you know what people have to say? Come take my seat. I'm going to do the right thing, and if you think you can beat me, beat me. But while I'm here, I'm going to do the right thing. And that's the kind of leadership we need. People that are not going to cower and be afraid. Threaten me if you want. Hey, listen, the people gave me this seat. If you want to take it away, take your best shot. But for the time I have it here, I'm going to do the right thing.
Right. And so understanding that, we have to formulate that plan to take back seats. So if we are worried about the president himself, we need to stop that fight, because he is who he is. He in the seat. But those other seats, that sister that's fighting, y'all need backup. So we got to get some qualified individuals, qualified like Dr. White. You know what I'm saying? Know what they're talking about. Know their job and care. So we have to do some work. Elections have consequences.
Thank you, James.
Stop worrying about what Donald Trump doing and who a coward and Steve Scalise them know Donald Trump ain't nobody. He has been propped in this position. So let's get to work, man.
Thank you so much, James.
Hey, brother, thank you, James. And look, James said a mouthful here. The reality is, we've got work to do, and this is an action time. And while we've got some trying times to deal with, it's far from over. Listen, our Democratic leadership, under the leadership of Hakeem Jeffries, we are going to push back on every single front to defend the American people. And I'm confident that right will always beat out wrong. Good will always beat out bad. But it ain't going to happen just sitting on the sideline. It's going to happen with us putting our helmets on and fighting our butts off and pushing back. And you can believe this, we are going to be fighting every single day to protect the rights of our people.
And I know you will. And we have to go to break. But when we come back, Congressman, I know that there are so many things you want to talk to us about. But I appreciate that you've given folk the opportunity to access you and to talk to you, because everybody on some level has a fear about what is happening in this country. So thank you for being able to kind of divert from what we're supposed to be talking about to try to ease the fears and to answer the questions of our listening audience. So thank you. But on the other side of the break, we'll have more with Congressman Troy Carter right here, WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK 1230 AM from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Patchy fog possible this morning, especially over water. Visibility at times could be less than a mile. We're a good 10 to 15 degrees warmer than yesterday's start. Mostly cloudy, highs in the upper 60s to mid-70s and breezy. Showers and storms after midnight through the Friday morning commute. Then partly cloudy Friday, highs similar to today. The weekend looks nice. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
The new year brings new health goals and wealth goals. Protecting your identity is an important step. Your info is in endless places that could expose you to identity theft, leading to lost funds. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Resolve to make identity health and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
Welcome to Liberty Bank and Trust, where your financial journey transforms communities. Since 1972, our customized banking solutions power your dreams and fuel your community growth. Every dollar you invest with us circles back to empower more people, ensuring opportunities for generations. Join us at Liberty Bank. Together, we empower possibility. Visit libertybank.net to start banking with purpose. Liberty Bank, there's freedom here.
Talk That. NOLA Education is all about awareness. Join Dr. Jaquil Ross from New Schools for New Orleans to learn how our schools in Orleans Parish are performing academically compared to other parishes. Tune in for Talk That this Monday at 12:30 p.m. on 12:30 a.m.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK 1230 AM.
And we are back. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. If you are just joining us, we're in conversation with our Congressman, the one and only Troy Carter, as we do each and every Thursday here on WBOK. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show, Congressman Carter.
Good morning, everyone.
Listen, I know, like I said, we took a hard pivot, but the floor is yours to talk about any of those initiatives you want to talk about. You could even recap the conversations we've been having, because I think people feel comforted in knowing there's a fighter that is from our state, that is in Washington, doing what he can do to protect us from the insanity that is happening all around us. So thank you for your service.
As always, I appreciate you, Dr. Wyatt, and appreciate WBOK for creating a forum where we can have these kind of free-flowing discussions to bring a little bit of Washington update every week to the people of Louisiana, to know what's going on, to sort out what you see on the news, and to demonstrate that we're here to fight, defend, and to protect from the evils. And yeah, I said evils because some of this stuff is downright evil. To attempt to take resources away from communities and people and healthcare and education, and is just pure evil. So we've had a good discussion this morning about, many of you have seen that the president attempted to do a freeze on all federal spending. Democrats pushed back, and the president rescinded that because of our efforts. We don't believe it's over. We believe he's going to come back and try another angle. But just like we won round one, we're going to fight to win round two and ultimately win the battle, because this democracy is not going to fall because of a president who wants to be a dictatorship, have a dictatorship rather. So we'll continue to push on. A lot of good things are going on. I'm real proud about some things that will once again strengthen our hand in Washington. I was recently appointed to the Energy and Commerce Committee, which is the oldest and strongest committee of the United States Congress. I'm the first ever from the West Bank of New Orleans to ever in history serve on Energy and Commerce Committee. I am the only member of Congress from Louisiana that serves on the Energy and Commerce Committee. Energy and Commerce has jurisdiction over everything energy, everything commerce, everything healthcare, everything telecommunication. That means all those efforts to repeal Obamacare, all those efforts to take away Medicaid or Medicare or to change the formulas, all have to come before my committee, which gives us incredible strength and an incredible voice. And as we've said several times today, it gives us the ultimate seat at the table. So I am honored, humbled, and proud to have fought and secured a seat on this very powerful committee to continue fighting for the people of Louisiana. It's a great blessing, and I'm honored by the confidence that my colleagues have placed in me to put me on this very powerful committee.
Listen, and we thank you for it. And, you know, I try to always like infuse a little lightheartedness in the conversations because everything around us is so heavy. But before you go, do you want to talk to us a little bit about the Washington Mardi Gras recap?
Yes. So let me tell you, we celebrated the 76th Washington Mardi Gras. And I was chairman this year, and I know a lot of our friends were stuck because of the snow. And while I take a moment to also wish everyone well that had to endure the snow, I know it was beautiful, but it was also inconvenient. So blessings to everyone who got out to make snowmen, and hopefully everyone else were able to stay warm during this winter wonderland. But Washington Mardi Gras was phenomenal. It was the 76th annual. I was the chairman this year. We had King Rico Alvendia, who was the king, and we had the beautiful Kendall Williams, who was queen. And it was a phenomenal time. I tell you what, one of the most magical things as chairman, I get to choose the king. I get to choose the queen. I also get to for the economic development luncheon, I get to set the agenda and pick the speakers. And this year, I had Hakeem Jeffries, the minority leader, to come and address a crowd of probably 90% Republicans. And I want to tell you, Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, minority leader, the next Speaker of the House, did such a phenomenal job in speaking that even the Republicans stood up and gave him a standing ovation. Won't God do it?
Won't he? Absolutely.
Won't he do it?
Yeah.
Now listen. Let me reset that table for you because I want you to see this in your brain. A packed ballroom, 90% Republicans. The African American Democratic leader stands up and gives the keynote address. It was so impactful to this audience that they clapped and gave him a standing ovation.
That's amazing. I mean, but you can't refute talent, though. He's a talented young man.
Let me tell you what that also means. When we have a seat at the table, we can make those kind of things happen.
Absolutely.
If I were not chairman of Washington Mardi Gras this year, that wouldn't have happened. The point I make is Voting have consequences. When we win elections, we get in positions of power. We get in positions of power. We can influence the outcome. We can make things like this happen. We can give an opportunity for our voices to be heard. And I'm going to keep coming back to that central theme, brothers and sisters. We got to keep voting, because when we vote, we send people to elective office who will fight for us, who will fight to make sure that we're not used, abused, and left behind. We have the power. We just have to stay together. We've got to continue to talk more to each other and less about each other. We have to really love each other. Now, here we are on the cusp of Black History Month. And this president is saying we're canceling all federal celebrations of Black history. Guess what? I don't care what he's doing. We're celebrating Black history.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And we're going to do it even stronger. And now what we're going to do is we're going to concentrate on doing one step further, not just during the 28 days of February, but we're going to love each other 365 days a year. We're going to truly lift each other up. We're going to truly be our brother's keepers. We're going to truly stop talking about each other. We're going to truly stop attacking each other. We're going to truly stop killing each other. We're going to truly stop selling drugs to each other. And we will then be the strength and community that God intended us to be. I love you. God bless WBOK. Can't wait to do it again next week.
Thank you so much, Congressman Troy Carter. As always, thank you for joining us and sharing your expertise and your love for the state of Louisiana with us. We appreciate you for all you do for our region. Thank you so much.
God bless you. God bless WBOK.
Have a blessed one. Listen, we have to go to break, y'all, but when we come back from break, we're going to jump right back into the conversations that we were having surrounding the education of our children here in the state of New Orleans. And if you want to join the conversation, the number here is 504-582-9422. Thank you once again to our congressman. On the other side of the break, stay with us. WBOK, 1230 a.m., what New Orleans is talking about.
WBOK 1230 AM New Orleans. Home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
This news report is brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know with BIN News. More than 30 bodies have been pulled from the Potomac River after last night's collision between a passenger plane and a military helicopter near Washington, D.C. Officials do not expect to find any survivors, and the operation is changing from rescue to recovery. President Trump signed an executive order to prepare a 30,000 migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay. The Departments of Defense and Homeland Security will handle the preparations. More questioning of President Trump's nominees continues today. Kash Patel will face senators for the FBI leadership role, Tulsi Gabbard for Director of National Intelligence, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. for Secretary of Health and Human Services. And Rihanna showed up to support A$AP Rocky at his ongoing assault trial in L.A. He faces 2 felony counts and could get up to 24 years if convicted. He pleaded not guilty and declined a plea deal. I'm Bree Wood on the Black Information Network, your home for Black News First.
New Schools for New Orleans wants to send a special shout out to our partner, the All-State Sugar Bowl. During the holiday break, over 30 teachers have the opportunity to ride in the New Year's Eve parade, and boy, did they have a blast. In addition, we had over 60 teachers attend the All-State Sugar Bowl game. Out of the 60, 11 teachers received a $1,000 gift card to purchase needed supplies to enhance the learning experiences for their students. Thank you, All-State Sugar Bowl, for your commitment to NOLA's teachers.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK 1230 AM.
And we are back. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I am your host, Dr. Ashanta Wyatt, and if you are just joining us, you missed a conversation with our congressman, the one and only Troy Carter. And so I want to just say thank you to the folk who had an opportunity to call in. I want to once again thank Congressman Troy Carter for availing himself to us each and every Thursday. But we're going to jump straight to the phone lines. John, good morning. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Thank you, Dr. Wyatt. I appreciate you hosting that meaningful conversation. John Renthrow, I'm a business owner in the city of New Orleans. I have a pretty sizable development in New Orleans East. I vibe with his sentiments 100%. I will say, you know, I'm a habitual voter. I vote every election, local, state, and national. I'm a business owner. I could bring 30-plus jobs into the city of New Orleans. I just got back from a trek. The blizzard kind of messed me up. I had to go get my products from Philadelphia just to make it in time to get onboarded for activation in New Orleans. Man, if I could just get some support from the city of New Orleans in any capacity to assist me with this build-out. And I've been reaching out to the congressman multiple times. I've been in D.C., met with his delegation, no avail. My property, which when I purchased the property was anticipation to be and take advantage of the Super Bowl 5 years ago, it's hurting my soul that I got to see this opportunity come and go. I just hope I could be online by the next time the next Super Bowl roll around, because at this point, it's one of the few developments that's probably owned in the city of New Orleans that's owned by natives, 100%. I'm getting onboarded as the National Black Growers Association president. This is a civil rights issue, and I just need more of the community to get behind it. As I keep leveling up, every year I'm going to break some history. We don't need a month to celebrate our historical status. We got citizens in the city that's making history, but we need like our politicians to get behind us. I got just about every state senator contact, and I'll be, you know, whatever, that Bill Kennedy is the main one to communicate with. That says something. And I'm going to just leave it at that. They got my number. They got my contact. I always miss the time to call and to have that one-on-one communication, but I'm going to make it a point next Thursday to call in on time.
I surely hope you do. And listen, I can try to connect you directly to him so that if you continue to miss him on the air, he's always giving out his number to his office and having folk reach out to him. He doesn't shy away from those types of things. So let's try to connect you directly to him so you can get that issue handled directly.
Right, and I hear you, but it get no more direct than being at the state capitol, going to meet with his admin, and being evaded. You know, and you're a public servant. You know, I don't want to be controversial, but just stand on that.
Yeah, we're going to try to fix that for you. We're going to try to fix that for you, okay? Thank you, John. And look, be safe, because it sounds like you're driving. Be safe out there. Listen, I am so grateful for the WBOK listening audience. It's one of the most critically thinking bodies of people out there. So thank you for all of your calls. I want to kind of go right back into the conversation about education here. There's some news outlets that are putting out a graphic that says Louisiana's fourth grade reading proficiency makes huge jump from 50th to 16th in the nation. So they went from 50th in the nation to 16th in the nation in fourth grade reading proficiency. That is what the graphic says. And so that's where we're going to start this conversation, because when we talk about the conversation we were having earlier about moving the line of what success looks like, I also want to point out that another one of the criterion that was told to me as to why I may or may not qualify to be the superintendent of New Orleans Public Schools is a proven track record of success. That's what was told to me. Proven track record of success. And the person I'm talking to, I looked at this person and I said, proven track record of success. Okay, so let's talk about it. I welcome anybody, and I've said it very openly. I don't run away or shy away from anything. Aside from the 6 years that there's been a concerted effort to keep me from working when I was working, you can check my record, right? I was at Horny for a very short amount of time, but you can go and see what I did there. Every evaluation I've ever had in any of the schools I've worked at, you can go check them. It's in a database. I can't touch it. It's not a score I gave myself. It is me being evaluated by folk who are coming in to monitor my progress and my success as an educational leader, as a teacher, as an academic dean, as an assistant principal. As a matter of fact, when I was an assistant principal, the principal of the school where I was working wrote a glowing recommendation for me to apply for jobs around this city, and I still have yet to get one. So when we talk about a proven track record of success, how is it that only certain people have to prove what they can do before they're given an opportunity to do it? Because if you tell me the Louisiana 4th grade reading proficiency jumped from 50th to 16th, where is the proof? We can't see data. Like, where is the sample size that you use? What part of Louisiana were you in when you were talking about reading proficiency moving from 50th to 16th? Let's be very clear, because you say Louisiana. You didn't say a certain parish. You didn't say a certain district. You said the state. So I want to know what the sample, where was the sampling coming from? I want to first understand that. That's what I want to do. Whose data are we using? Because if I can give my own data, of course I'm going to give myself glowing reviews. But again, all of the evaluations that I'm asking you to go and check on my behalf don't come from me. I didn't evaluate myself. And even as a professor at Xavier University, we get evaluated at the end of our courses. Go look at them. I didn't evaluate myself. I didn't click the boxes myself. I didn't talk about my proficiency as an educational leader on my own. Those are people who have worked with me, who have worked underneath my leadership. These are children who I've led, parents whose children have been in my charge. This is not me saying this about me. So I just think it's so strange that every time they think there's a I got you moment, I can stand firm in who I know I am in this profession. And I'll say this again, aside from the 6 years that I've been denied the opportunity to work in my field, you can go and check the records for yourself. And you can talk about resumes and curriculum vitae all you want. We do know that anybody could put anything on paper, right? You could go find ChatGPT and let them write your resume for you. Tell them what you wanted to say. It'll pull up all those glowing, nice, big, audacious words. But I'm a walking CV. I'm a walking resume. So I don't need nobody to try to tell me about what I can or can't do for the children of this city. If you really felt like I couldn't do it, why are you blocking me so hard? If you really felt like I was going to drop the ball, why are you keeping me from getting it in my possession? Put me in the game, coach, and then assess me. And see, I'm talking directly to the people who are puppeteering this thing. They know who they are, and they know I know who they are. I don't do coward things. I'm not a coward. I don't throw a brick and hide my hand. I don't say it and say, oh, I didn't say that. I said it and I meant it. And I'm going to stand on it. If you believe that I am unprepared, unqualified, if I lack the criteria, why y'all having all of these secret meetings and all of these private rooms to discuss little old me? Why is that? If you really thought that I couldn't do this job, why are you working overtime to ensure that I don't work anywhere, not just as a superintendent of New Orleans Public Schools, anywhere in this city or this state? Phone calls are being made. Meetings are being held. And I know who you are, and you know I know who you are. And that's why this is so important for people to stop pretending as if we don't know what the problem is here. We could allow people to tell us that our children are moving from 50th to 16th and nobody's asking for proof. But I could apply for a job and all of a sudden you want proof of my track record. Well, go and get the proof. The jobs are listed on the resume. Go and get the proof. Ask any one of my children. As I was walking into McDonough 35 last night to go attend the meeting, I believe my senator's son was walking in with me, if I could remember correctly. And we were just walking and talking, and a young man was sitting in front of the school, and he said, "Hey, Miss Wyatt." I said, "You calling me Miss Wyatt? Make me remember who you are." And he said, "SciTech." I said, "Oh, you one of my SciTech babies." I led him in middle school. And Joe Bowie said that's impact. See, that's all of the accolades I need is when the children recognize who I am for them and who I've been to them. I don't need you to judge me. I don't care anything about your judgment. The children love me. The children know that any given day that they ring this phone, I'm showing up. I don't need a rhyme or a reason. The only reason is you call me and I'm coming. Every school I've ever worked in, I stood in fierce defense of my children. Ask those leaders if they're bold enough to tell you. Been there, done that. You will never question who I am for the children of this city. I won't let you do it without standing up to you and saying, proven track record. Show me your proven track record. Show me what you've done. Because right now, our city, our school system is in a crisis. And you're trying to tell me all of the reasons why I am disqualified or barred from the opportunity to participate in educating our children. You're acting as if you're at the top of the leaderboard here. It's blasphemous. But if you want to join this conversation, the number is 504-582-9422. Good morning, Miss Alicia. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Good morning, good morning, good morning to all. Doc, I'm with you. Whatever you decide, wherever you're going to go, I'm with you. But I'm going to step up and say, we need to call these people out because they're listening to the godmother, Leslie Rosenthal Jacobs, who herself does not have the experience and the qualifications to even run the school board and these dunces sitting up there in those seats. Caroline Roma Shirley doesn't have an education background. She's the what they call them, a captain for the godmother. Then you have, let's go down the list. Leila Eames, she's an educator. And for her not to support another educator, she's wrong for that. The hairdresser, no education whatsoever. She has a GED. Okay? Then we have the president, Katie Baldwin. I don't even know what Katie's background is. Then you have Carlos Zervagon, who has been vocal about he's only going to support white children in Audubon, uptown, where his children attended school. The nurse, Miss Griffin, no education background. Then you have Nolan Marshall, who has nothing but his father's name. He wasn't even the photographer. His daddy was the entrepreneur. His daddy was the general at Nolan Marshall. And they have the audacity to sit and tell you that you don't qualify. Okay, let's go, because we know who they want. Let's start with Sharon Clark. She's a principal of only one school. She's not a superintendent, don't have a superintendent background. Jamal McNeely, does he even have a degree in education? But he's over Inspire NOLA. He's not a superintendent. And then you have the interim, and I said last night at the meeting, because all the qualifications that the president of the school board mentioned what they were looking for. And I said to her, out of your own mouth, Madam President, the interim does not qualify. Because you say you're looking for somebody local because you know the people want someone local. So the interim right now, as we sit, is not qualified. And when you talk about the experience and stuff, and if they want to try to keep the interim, she came in with the one you all just fired. And she sat right with the one who y'all just fired, and $36 million missing. But they're going to say they don't want a Dr. Ashanta Wyatt. I think with all these elected officials, all these public officials conspiring against one person, and it goes all the way to the top, the godmother, Leslie Rosenthal Jacobs, we've got to find a way to legally hold them responsible. And everybody along the front, everybody who's always denied you a job, denied you a phone call, denied you the opportunity to interview like every other applicant. Something has to be done. But I'm with you. Whatever you do, I'm with you, standing right there with you, supporting you, and you let us know what you want us to do. Because if the fight is going to continue, I'm in the fight. Because
Thank you so
like
much.
you said, we want you as our superintendent, and you're overqualified. Have a good one.
Thank you so much. Listen, the phone lines are lit up. Sekou, good morning. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Talking to me?
I am.
Yeah, Ashanti White?
This is she.
Your bad sister. I'm not going to mention the brother's name, but a brother introduced me to you a few years ago, and he told me your profile. I started checking you out. You have a sister.
Thank
You're very knowledgeable and committed. And Troy Carter, too. Both of y'all represent the black community beautifully. I'll be listening to y'all every day, different times on a newscast and on news media coverage and stuff like that. Just keep on doing what you're doing. People recognize your leadership ability, recognize your commitment to black people as a whole. And also, Troy Carter is always on time. Both of y'all be hitting on all cylinders and fighting back, and understanding the forces that tend to operate in the background or in the foreground, trying to suppress black people. So I'm getting out the way. And like I said, I'm getting in the win, and take care and be strong. And I think you know the brother I'm talking about. So if you ever come through the neighborhood, you're welcome to come through here. All right, my sister?
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Listen, the phone lines are lit up. We have to go to break, but DJ, stay there. Gary, stay there. I'm going to catch y'all on the other side. This is WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about.
New Orleans, are you ready? A fresh voice in the city is here, bringing you the beats, the culture, and the stories that matter. From local music and food to real talk on what's happening in the streets. We've got you covered. Stay tapped in. Follow us on all platforms at WBOK 1230 for the latest updates and exclusive content. Your city, your culture, your news. Don't just hear about it, be about it. Follow WBOK 1230 now.
Good morning. I'm Daryl Forges with WDSU News, and here's your headlines. An American Airlines plane collided with a Black Hawk helicopter near Reagan Airport in Washington, D.C. Here's what we know so far. At least 30 bodies have been pulled from the Potomac River. No other information has been released about casualties or survivors. The commercial plane was coming from Wichita, Kansas, and was carrying 60 passengers and 4 crew members. Among the passengers were figure skating athletes, coaches, and family members who attended a development camp in Wichita. The Russian state media also is reporting that ice skating world champions and coaches were on that flight. As for the Black Hawk helicopter, the Army has confirmed 3 people were on board. In news closer to home, police are investigating a shooting that left 1 man injured in the Pines Village neighborhood. Police say they received a call about shots being fired on Morrison Road around 12:40 this morning. It was then reported that a man arrived to the hospital around 1:15 with a gunshot wound. No further information has been given at this time, but call Crime Stoppers at 504-822-1111 if you have any information that can help police. The NOPD is also sifting through ways to make the French Quarter safer following that deadly terror attack on New Year's Day. Restricting Bourbon Street to just foot traffic is one thing they're considering. Business owners in the area say they're on board with that idea. It's also important to note, by the way, that under this idea, emergency vehicles, of course, would not be barred from driving down Bourbon Street. I'm Daryl Forges, and that's your headlines for WBOK. Have a great day.
NOLA Public Schools' main round enrollment for kindergarten through 12th grade is now open. With 73 schools available through the NOLA Public Schools Common Application Process, or NCAP, finding the right school fit for your family is easier than ever. List up to 12 choices to maximize your chances and apply by January 24th. We're all in, and we hope you are too. Apply today at enrollnolaps.com. That's enrollnolaps.com.
Saints of God, it's time for us to tell you the truth. It's time for you to start your 21-day challenge. Don't take another day. Do it right now. Call 504-701-4711. That's the Whole Water Store, Pastor David Impartan Sr., the host of Change Your Water, Change Your Mind. This is the water that's designed to change your body, the way you think, the way you act, and the way you look. Why don't you start your 21-day challenge today? For $35, you can start it right now. Call me so we can set up your appointment. 504-701-4711. That's 504-701-4711. Change your water, change your mind.
Welcome to Liberty Bank and Trust, where your financial journey transforms communities. Since 1972, our customized banking solutions power your dreams and fuel your community growth. Every dollar you invest with us circles back to empower more people, ensuring opportunities for generations. Join us at Liberty Bank. Together, we empower possibility. Visit libertybank.net to start banking with purpose. Liberty Bank, there's freedom here.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM.
Good morning. Wake up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK 1230 AM.
Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. Happy Thursday, y'all. We're going to jump straight back into the phone lines. Good morning, DJ. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Good morning, Dr. Wyatt. First of all, let me just say this. According to them, you are not qualified. And let me tell you why you're not qualified. Because they are looking for a puppet. And they're looking for a puppet to go along with the status quo of what they've already been doing. And so because you want to be a voice for the children, because you want change, because you want reform, because you want things to get better, because you will see what's going on, you have the keys to the education of the city, and therefore have the power to make a positive impact on the students of the city. You are therefore have disqualified yourself because you want to make this system better. You're not equipped with the little part that opens up in the back of you where you can put the arm in and move your mouth and say what you want to say. They know they won't be able to control that. And so they want someone who they can control, someone they can always pull the strings and have them dancing how they want to dance and move what they want to move in order to cover up everything else. So unfortunately, Dr. Wyatt, in their eyes you aren't, but we always here for you. So you just say the word where we need to go, we need to march, make some signs, you let us know, we ready to ride.
Thank you so much, DJ. I appreciate you. Have a blessed one. Good morning, Gary. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Good morning, Dr. Wyatt. I saw for myself what they're really about. That board, those people sitting there are all puppets. We need to find out who controls them. They are more concerned about who occupy those buildings, the contracts for occupying the buildings, their property management firm. That board you saw is the board of directors of a real estate company. All these empty school buildings we see in these neighborhoods where these kids could go to school, there's nothing being done with. They're not addressing that. They're only concerned about these big charter companies using our kids, our schools, for profit. We got to find out who's in their pockets. That's what I see. And as far as qualifications, they talk about having this and having that. Since Colonel Davis, Alphonse Davis, I'm gonna go back. That might be 20 years. We haven't had anybody to adequately run these schools. So why not try something that we know? Why not try having a person that has the education and the experience that come from backgrounds similar to our children? I was one of those kids who sometimes thought about dropping out and all this stuff. You know the struggle that comes from these households. Them people sitting up there, none of them can match. None of them have been through the stuff you've been through, from a child to the adult. They're going to fight you because you're not like them. You're not able to be controlled. You're going to listen to the people. You're going to give the kids what they need, what's best for them. And that's what I saw. And it's my first time going to a school board meeting. That won't be my last. And we gotta hurt some feelings. We gotta wake some people up. I didn't like seeing that auditorium being empty, void of parents. I asked a question about PTAs and PTOs. They don't want that. They don't want the parents involved. And you're the type of person that would get motivation to programs like PTAs and PTOs, dad's clubs, mom's clubs in schools. It's ridiculous what I heard, what I saw, what I witnessed. And the people that's on that board, I found all of them to be very, very weak in being controlled. I mean, it's obvious. They don't want you because you're strong enough to fix this problem that they profit from. I'm going to hang up.
Thank you so much, Gary. I appreciate you. Good morning, Aaron. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm great.
Thank
How are you?
For taking my call. First, shouts out to the Fatherhood Roundtable as well as the People's Political Party. Let me say this here. First, 504-259-7037. That's my number. You know, with all this black leadership that we have, not just in the city, but within this state, all this so-called black leadership we have in this city as well as this state, and for you, Doc, not to have no job, especially when these same black leaders that we have in this city and this state know and fully understand the quality as well as the quantity that you bring to the table, and for you not to have no job in the field that you have expertise in, speaks to the so-called black leadership within this city. But yet the same so-called black leadership within this city and this state got the nerve to come to our communities, come to our churches, and ask for our vote for them. Why must we continue to vote these same people in office over and over again without no reciprocity? There is no way with your expertise in the field that you are in, that you don't have no job in that field. You never been a radio host before neither, but look what you're doing right now. So man, miss us with all that foolishness, all that extra stuff. The reason why y'all don't want her is the simple fact she can't be bought and will not be paid for. Y'all want, like Gary just said, y'all want puppets, people who y'all can control. It's more easier to get people from out of state and out of town and everywhere because it's more easier to control them compared to people that's right here. It's crazy how all of the important positions within this city and the people that's from here is not running them. But yet we can leave this city, leave this state, and go somewhere else and be heads of every department everywhere else, but can't be a head in our own city where we born and raised at. And we wonder why Luigi Mangione did what he did. Man, we better wake up, man. And again, it's a slap in the face to all this black leadership. All these leaders call this radio station, and yet our sister still ain't got no job.
Thank you so much, Aaron. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Shedrick, good morning. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Good morning. Good morning. You know, unfortunately, last night I was privileged to a conversation, and it was sad to hear a black man, a black school board member, talk about the process, which, in my opinion, my interpretation, it's tainted. It's already been, they're just going through the show process of it. To say that as a black man, my brother, you came from a black woman, you're probably married to a black woman. I just didn't get it, and I'm very appalled. Now, to piggyback off of what Aaron just said, black leadership, the black leadership here in this city, in my opinion, it's very sad. It's very disheartening. Congressman Troy Carter, to your staff members who are listening, why don't y'all do something? Help us. We're hurting. And then to the parents, lastly, the parents of the 40,000 students, where are y'all? Where are y'all? While your children educational, while your children's education is being toyed with and played with. I pray your continued strength. Have a good day.
Thank you, Shedrick. Listen, I appreciate all of the WBOK listening audience and all of the callers, but let me put a pin on this, because I only talked about this topic because it was news. It was talked about by WGNO because they were at the school board meeting. There were some other cameras there. I don't know who those cameras belong to, but I do know WGNO interviewed several people who attended the meeting. WGNO came up to me and asked me, did I have something to say? I didn't go looking for them to talk to them. I was sitting in the back of the room. I don't even think most of the people who were talking about me and saying my name even knew I was in the room. So let me be clear about that. And I only talked about it here because this is Black media. And since Black media wasn't in the room, I decided to bring the news to the Black media outlet to share with the Black media listening audience. But I'll change the subject. I only talked about it because it was news. And it just so happens to involve me. But yesterday when I talked about what was in the news had nothing to do with me. And the day before that had nothing to do with me. But I digress. I only want the very best for this city and its children. But I can see very clearly who is for that and who is not for that. And it makes no sense for me to drive myself to the brink of insanity when folk are going to do whatever folk want to do. Whatever they want to do it with. I have not the power nor the money to make a difference in terms of this political structure. All of it. All of it. Because this is no different than pulling the curtains back and knowing that there's a man just pulling strings and eyes, right? This is no different than that. But it's disheartening to me when you realize that even the people you consider to be an ally are not that. But I'm going to leave it there because it was news and that's why I talked about it. But I'm thankful to those of you who very publicly and boldly support me. I thank Dr. Senator Joseph Bowie for always publicly supporting me. And so I know who the people are who love me and support me unapologetically, no matter how hard that might be for them. But I'll leave it there. I'm going to switch the news to something that's easier for people to hear and want to talk about. This idea that this country is now being run by all of these unqualified people, since we're talking qualifications. There is Newsmax host. This is news. He was taunting the families and the children who were being deported. And he was eating tacos live on air as he was talking about migrant deportations of Latinos. He was eating tacos on air. But, you know, that's not as offensive as somebody talking about the blacklisting of them on air. So let's talk about the man eating tacos on air while he's talking about Latino deportations. There is no humanity there. If we could allow this, people are actually tuning in to see this. It's very sickening, and it's telling you that if you have enough money, if you have enough power, you don't even have to have empathy or compassion or love for anything except dead presidents to be important in these United States, because that was allowed on air. No censorship. Nobody turned him off air. Nobody cut his mic off. He's eating tacos while he's taunting the Latino community about migrant deportations. That is the low we have sunk to in this country. This is sick to me. It's very sick to me. And maybe my problem is my heart is probably too big. My humanity is probably too strong. My clarity of vision is probably too sharp. Maybe that's my flaw. That's the flaw in my matrix. Right? It's really not my fault. This is how God made me. But I'm the problem. I get it. I got it. And I heard you. But you can't, what I've learned is you can't be upset with a structure You just have to decide to not be a part of the structure. That's what you have to decide. I hear you and I heard you. We are allowing people to eat tacos on air while they mock families being torn apart. But we censoring our own. Like, this is insane to me. But I digress. Let's talk about the Secretary of Defense, who had never been a Secretary of Defense before, but those people did not care that he had not been a Secretary of Defense before because they confirmed him. And he got on national TV, on a national podcast, let's say that. And he meant to say that unity, not diversity, is America's strength, because, that's his talking point. But see, when you don't have the talking point in front of you, you're gonna fumble it. And this is what he actually said. The dumbest phrase in our military is unity is our strength. That's what he said. The dumbest phrase in our military is unity is our strength. And see, some people are thinking he botched it. I'm thinking he spoke from the actual side of his heart that he believes in. Because see, the talking point was unity, not diversity, is America's strength. But he didn't have the talking point. So when you don't have it in front of you, you speak from your heart. And what he said was the dumbest phrase in our military is unity is our strength. And this is the defense secretary. He's in charge of the military. Had not been the defense secretary before. No qualifications for it. But see, those people don't care because they know power in money crowns the king. They know that. You have people who are openly saying, as our congressman, so let me refer to the congressman, maybe that's safe to talk about. The congressman said that there is a lady, a person that is saying that if you do not confirm the Kennedy confirmation, that she's going to put her personal money behind your seat and unseat you. I'm going to tell you who she is. When Kennedy was trying to be the president, she was his running mate. And she got on her platform and she said she's going to take a list of every person who votes to not confirm him, and she's going to put her money behind them, and she's going to work to unseat them. See, this is what I talk about when we talk about them versus what the Democrats are doing. These people are big gangsters. These people are telling you very openly that they don't care anything about the Constitution. They don't care anything about how it's supposed to be. They're telling you what they're going to do, and they're actually doing it. Oh, but let's censor the people who stand for people. Let's do that. Let's castigate the people who actually care about humanity. Let's do that. Because see, I'm not no coward. And I will not ever jeopardize or minimize or water down who I am to make anybody or anything comfortable. So if my presence makes you uncomfortable, maybe my presence is not needed. But I'm not going to sit here and play this game as if I can't see the writing on the wall. I cannot stop seeing it. We better prepare for what's about to happen in our mayoral race. Maybe that's safe to talk about. Let's talk about that. Because it's not going to be any different. If you have enough money, if you have enough connections, if you could buy enough people, you could literally have whatever you like, whatever seat you want. That's what this country is teaching us. It's not that we're not qualified, we just poor. It's not that we can't make any real gains in any forum that requires credentials. We're just poor. Am I or anybody else who happens to have the misfortune of to be born poor, does that disqualify us for wanting to be something on behalf of our people? We talking about censorship, and these people are literally placing people in very powerful positions based on loyalty. One band, one sound. And if you deviate from that, they are sending political hits for you. That's what the lady said. If you do not vote to confirm him, I'm going to take my personal money and I'm going to put it behind anybody that wants to run against you that is going to further our agenda. We're living in Project 2025 in the state of Louisiana because anybody with any real power and real influence who actually looks like us don't have our best interests at heart. That's why we living in Project 2025. It ain't all about what they're doing to us. Because I will tell you, this cannot be this efficient if it's only one side batting. Both of these sides have to be batting for the same agenda. This is too efficient. It's just too lock in step. Let's talk about something that's safe. Y'all watch The Real Housewives of Atlanta? Y'all watch that? Let's talk about something that's safe. Let's talk about, what I watch on TV. When I go home, I'm going to tell you what I watch. Matlock. That's what I watch. Every day I watch Matlock. Every day, the old and the new. I watch Elsbeth. The new season, the new shows haven't come out yet, but that's what I watch. Right? Mindless TV. You know why I watch mindless TV? Just things that you don't have to have any real thought process. You could just watch it and enjoy it and kick back. Because everything I do every day is so heavy. Everything is so heavy. So I just go home and I watch mindless TV. I was watching Deal or No Deal yesterday. That's what I was watching. Trying to figure out who I thought was going to beat the banker. That's what I was watching. Let's talk about what's safe to talk about. That's what I was watching. I think that I am the problem, me, because I tend to care about things that seemingly nobody wants you to really care about. So maybe I need to start keeping my thoughts to myself in my brain. Right? Or only talk about these things with like-minded folk at the kitchen table in somebody's house so that I don't drive myself insane. But we have a mayoral race that's coming up, right? There are going to be some judgeships that are getting ready to come up. And if the people have their way, the judgeships won't even be in our power anymore because they just want to appoint them. And maybe the judges don't realize that that's what's about to happen, right? Because if they have it their way, those will be appointments. So maybe we need to get serious about the business of being serious, or we gonna all get X'd out of the process. I for one am tired. I'm about to mind my business. That's what I'm about to do. So let's talk about the fun stuff, the safe stuff. My son has a track meet coming up in Houston. And maybe I just need to go to Houston and go watch my son run and maybe interview for some jobs in Houston. Because this is clearly no place for me. I heard you, I got it. But we're going to go to break. And when we come back, somebody need to call so y'all can have something to say, because Ain't no sense in me having any. I don't have anything else to say. We're gonna talk about, I need to learn I relearn how to double dutch. I used to know how to do that. I haven't done it in so long. Maybe it's like riding a bike when you get on it, just come all back to you. But we're gonna talk about the safe stuff on the other side of the break. This is WBOK 1230 AM. What y'all talking about?
This is your news update for WBOK 1230 AM from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Patchy fog possible this morning, especially over water. Visibility at times could be less than a mile. We're a good 10 to 15 degrees warmer than yesterday's start. Mostly cloudy, highs in the upper 60s to mid-70s and breezy. Showers and storms after midnight through the Friday morning commute. Then partly cloudy Friday, highs similar to today. The weekend looks nice. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha!
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
The National World War II Museum, located in the Warehouse District of New Orleans. The National World War II Museum tells the story of America's experience in the war that changed the world, why it was fought, how it was won, and what it means today. Visit them online at www.nationalww2museum.org for time tickets and safety information.
WBOK and LCMC Health are proud to present Keeping You Well Cafe, 60 Minutes with LCMC Health, where the doctors speak directly to the people of New Orleans. LCMC Health is committed to improving the quality of care here in New Orleans, the Gulf South, and beyond. The Keeping You Well Cafe is another way for LCMC Health to engage with the community. At the Keeping You Well Cafe, LCMC Health joins WBOK and local businesses to answer your questions about wellness and health.
Hey everybody, it's Kimber White Dupree.
And it's Graylin Bryant Banks from the front porch. We're coming up next.
Good morning, Wake Up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK 1230 AM.
Show. Happy Thursday, y'all. I am your host, Dr. Ashanta Wyatt. Super producer Naira Sanders is in the building with me as well. Listen, the show has been one that, it was what it was. I want to say thank you to our congressman, the one and only Troy Carter, for coming in each and every Thursday to talk to us about all the wonderful initiatives that he's doing on behalf of this state of Louisiana. So I want to say again, thank you to Congressman Troy Carter for all of your efforts on behalf of the state of Louisiana. I also want to thank all of the WBOK listening audience for calling in and having some substance to talk about. But, it is what it is when it comes down to, the powers that be and what folk want, who have enough money to make those sorts of decisions. And so either I have to go get some money so that my opinions can be valued around here, or I just need to mind my business. Either way, I really don't have much else to say, really. I really want there to be some sort of unity of purpose for this city. I think that we are at a crossroads in terms of an identity crisis. I don't know where we're going to go, but I do know that in terms of leadership, we have to be very intentional about our upcoming elections so that we can figure out where do we go from here. Good morning, Ms. Jones. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Good morning. Good morning to everybody, and thank you for being there. Thank you, Troy Carter, everybody, anybody. After last night, I see those people as cold. They're no different than criminals. And they've fallen into the hands of what people ought to say, the New World Order, the one world government, from the top of the nation to regional to local. And it's just sad that they don't see it. And where are the ministers preaching and telling about this? The New World Order. Haven't heard that expression about the last 15, 20 years. And as far as that board, the so-called board, they all look like they are spaced out to me. Most of them didn't say anything because they're ashamed, shy, or they might have had some of Jim Jones' tea. That's all I could say. It's just sad. And you just got to move on.
Miss Jones, didn't I just meet you yesterday?
You sure did.
Let's talk about that. Let's just talk about the beauty of meeting people whose voices you hear every single day. And I was just so excited to meet you, right? So
Same
let's
here.
just talk about that, because I promise you, I talk to so many folk on the air, even through my own personal social media pages, that I've never ever met in person. So when I get to meet them and they meet me, first of all, they say, "Oh, you're so little." Like, I don't know if people think
You
I'm
are
supposed
beautiful
to
and smart.
be this big old person, but it was so good putting a face to the name that I hear, to the voice I hear almost every week on the
Thank
show.
you, and it's the same here. It's the same here, and they're doing everything on purpose. And we could go back in the history. I know people didn't like Miss Hester, Coach Frank. They told everything, and people just sat back.
Yeah, and when you talk about those names, ask yourself where are they now? Because this kind of work is so heavy and it takes so much out of you, and folks forget you after you've done all you can in defense of your city and its people. It's like, it's a used to be. Remember when? Like even the Mama D's of the world. Like, when is it going to change?
It's done on purpose, and looking overall, I'm saying, and people who are as old as I am, or as young as I am, the White House, I'll say it wasn't really an honest one. I don't care which way they say or what they say. It's preparation for what we knew and heard in the news back in the day, the takeover of this country. You're going to destroy within.
Yeah.
All of these unqualified people, a hairdresser, we don't need her because our sisters already know how to style hair without going to school.
We learned that in the kitchen. We learned that. You remember when your mama did your hair in the kitchen and they had the hot comb and that blue magic grease? We learned that in the kitchen.
And
no instructions, no guidelines. We just figured it out because we innovative like that.
So, we didn't need that. But right now, people, I'm saying with Dr. Umar Johnson, they claim he wasn't a doctor, wasn't kin to Frederick Douglass, but he said something. He said, "There's going to come a time," he said, "I'm afraid our people won't be prepared." He had a book signing, I think, at Community Bookstore because I purchased the book and he signed it. And it's so true, all that he has said.
Yeah.
Everything that he said. And ministers, come out of the pulpit, tell what it is. Don't just preach salvation, that's the ultimate thing, but we're living now until he comes back and destroy all of this. But for those people who are blackballing and doing all that they can, all that they want to do, I don't know if they're scared, if they have a gun behind them or what, but they certainly look abnormal. They are just spaced out. That's all I could say.
Well, I appreciate you, Miss Jones, and it was so nice getting to meet you and hug on you.
The same here, and I know you from Good Stock and Teacher because I mentioned those people, the names of persons.
Yes, Miss Carol T. Johnson, Miss Carol Thornton Johnson was my first teacher, my first grade teacher at William J. Fisher Elementary School. So that's who we were talking about yesterday. So
right, and she had been there for many years.
Yes. So thank you again. I appreciate you. Thank you for your support, and thank you for being an avid listener of WBOK. We appreciate you over here.
I appreciate you all.
Have a great one. Listen, I was talking to Miss Jones at the school board meeting yesterday. She was with Miss Alicia Plummer, and Miss Alicia was like, "That's Miss Jones." So I say, "Wait," and Miss Alicia was like, "Yeah, the first lady of WBOK." So it was so good to see her. I like to see folk who I converse with. I only know them by their voice. Most people only know me by my voice. A lot of people have not met me before. I was in Walmart one day before they rolled back their DEI. And I was in the line and I said something, and the lady in front of me turned around and said, "Aren't you that lady? Aren't you that lady?" And I was like, "That lady?" And she said, "Yeah, I follow your Facebook page." I say, "I guess I am that lady." So it's my voice that a lot of people recognize, even if they've never seen my face. And then when folk meet me for the first time, I guess because my voice is what it is, they think I'm bigger than what I am. I'm not big at all. The biggest thing on me is my head. But I got that from my daddy, so y'all can't hold that against me. Y'all see, I can lighten it up if I feel like it. You know what I mean? Certain times calls for gentleness, and certain times call for that warrior in me. But I'm gonna tuck that warrior away because it's just not. It has no place here, in this city. It has no place for me in this city, and so I'm just gonna do what I can do in the silo that I live in, and I'm just gonna have to be okay with that until God decides to open up a different pathway and I find my way there. But the only thing that was really holding me down to this city is my child, because he was in these school systems. And now that he's not here, it's probably time for me to try to figure out what is next for me, because I will not let the spirit of who I am die in a place that can't water me. I'm just not going to do that. And I really want y'all to know I am who I say I am. There is no pretension over here. If I said it, I meant it, and I'm going to stand on it. And that's how I feel. That is who I am. And if that's uncomfortable for you, then you're just not, meant to share space with me. And that's fine. Let's move around. I'm okay with it. I've sacrificed bigger things in alignment with my integrity. And that's just who I am. I'm going to die on that hill, I guess. But I also want to tell y'all, yesterday was my grandmother's 97th birthday. She is deceased. But I want to take this time to honor her, because it is because of her and who she was as a woman and who she was as a mother to all of my aunts and to my mother, and who she was to the community of the Fisher, who she was, to the community. My mother was born on this side of the river, Melpomene and Saratoga, but I'm born and raised out that Fisher. You know what I mean? So my grandmother was that girl. And because she was that girl, I'm that girl. And so I want to say happy heavenly 97th birthday to my grandmother, the matriarch of the Wyatt family, Miss Rosa B. Wyatt. Shout out to you, my girl, because I need you to know that I honor you every day that I live and I breathe, and I'm going to continue to do that. And you wouldn't allow me to lay down just because people taking punches at me, and I will not and shall not. So happy birthday to you, Miss Rosa B. Wyatt. Happy heavenly birthday. But y'all stay tuned for that fun stuff up next with Graylin and Kimber. As for me and the Good Morning Show, we're going to see y'all on the other side. This is WBOK 1230 AM. See y'all later.